All right, looks like we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Men Without a Nation. I'm Mike. Uh, if you listened last time, uh, it's just me. John's work schedule has precluded him from doing streams for a little bit, and so it's just going to be me this afternoon. Well, it's still technically morning, it's not even noon yet where I'm at. So, this is something that I've wanted to talk about for a while, and it has to do with the candidacy of Marianne Williamson, one of the most interesting candidates in my view. Um, I bumped across her a while ago when we were doing our American religion series, which we still need to finish up. I, excuse me, bumped across her while we were kind of going through the sort of the development of the different religious followings in America. Ran across spiritualism, which is a very interesting. It was a popular thing in like the 1900s, but it very clearly has its roots in witchcraft. Um, a related, yeah, spiritualism. Related one, related to this is spiritualists, which I think that actually Marianne probably falls more in line with that category. Um, I've been watching her now for, oh, let's see here, since the beginning of the year. She essentially went from nobody. Let's see here if I can. Uh, let's see if I can find some stuff about here. Uh, let's see here. She's sort of been this person that's just kind of hung around, in the shadows, so to speak. But she's well connected to a known uh, peddler of the supernatural and modern day woo woo nonsense, Oprah Winfrey, and so Oprah's spiritual guru. But this gal has been tootling around California and in Hollywood circles for many years. And there's actually a really good piece in the New York Times. I have it here archived just because it's one of those things you just keep these. If you find something interesting, archive it because you have no idea if it's ever going to be scrubbed. But 1970s is kind of when she came into her own. And I'm just gonna kind of just go through this article because I think it's a good synopsis of everything. Um, so let's see here. Uh, she has she talks a lot in these very almost positive terms. She talks a lot about love. She talks a lot about it's she's very hippie-ish in this regard. I'm having trouble kind of organizing my thoughts around this because there's just so much to cover. But essentially, she was a let's see here. Oh, she grew up. Let's see here. I'm just skimming through here. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. So, the influence on Marianne Williamson's life is a book called A Course in Miracles, written by a woman named Helen Schuckman, who her parents were non-practicing Jews. Surprise, surprise. Remember, it's not all of them. It's just always them. Um, Miss Helen here, she's having dreams. She's just writing things out. She's having visions. This is actually par for the course for a lot of a lot of different religions that kind of start up. This is kind of common with Joseph Smith and Mormonism. You see this in a lot of charismatic circles where they have these spectacular visions and revelations and such and such and such. And so Helen Schuckman is no exception to this. Also, I might add, this is somewhat J.K. Rowling has talked about similar experiences when she was writing the Harry Potter series, and it all points to what's called auto writing. Another book that let's see here. I'm just checking the chat to see if anyone's saying anything. Nope. No one's watching, so that's okay. I'm just gonna keep on talking. Let's see here. Let's see here. Jesus Calling is the one that I'm thinking of, written by Sarah Young. Yep, Sarah Young. Jesus Calling. This is the sort of stuff that fits into the same sort of nonsense. So let's keep looking at this here. So 1965, Helen Schuckman started writing this, and she wrote it all down, came to believe the voice belonged to Jesus. Always usually does. Let's see here. You always got to be careful of this stuff, and Paul warns us about this. 2 Corinthians 11:4, for if someone comes and proclaims a Jesus other than the one we proclaimed, or if you receive a different spirit than the one you received, or a different gospel than the one you accepted, you put up with it way too easily. He's when Paul's writing Corinthians, he's actually pretty strongly, he's taking the Corinthian congregation to task because they're just a bunch of feel-good seekers, and they don't really have any sort of strong grounding, and so he really takes them to task about how they just accept anybody who comes in the name of Jesus with that, and don't pay attention to the actual teachings. And so, stuff like, Jesus Calling by Sarah Young, a Course in Miracles by this non-religious Jew. It's yeah. Anyways, it always culminates in something that is satanic and uses the name of Jesus to give it credibility. So 1976 was published, Foundation for Inner Peace, drew from older traditions like Christian Science and New Thought. I remember New Thought. Let's see here. Hope I don't dox myself. I remember. It's amazing how all of these things just kind of come back to you after you've, you go through the rough history of something. You see all these names, and then they just keep on coming back again and again and again, and they're all connected to Satanism, false religions, false teachings. I'm going to wait for my LibreOffice to boot up here. It's always a bit wonky. How's my connection doing? Yep. Error occurred. Please try again later. We'll see what happens here. So, okay, so she drew on older traditions like Christian Science and New Thought. It incorporated Freudian language. Does Jordan B. Peterson come to mind? Actually, no. His was Jung, but he likes Freud as well. Well, let's see here what some of it teaches. Reality is illusory. Conflicts dissolve when we realize the power of love and forgiveness. Change in perception produces miracles. Nothing unreal exists. Nothing real can be threatened. Herein lies the peace of God. Um, so it seems like Ms. Schickman had some sort of conscience because until 19, she didn't want her name on it. No intention of being a new religious prophet. Um, Psychology Today. Let's see here. Supermarket of latest oddity in the American supermarket of cults, religions, and psycho-mystical movements. So goes into New York spiritual counterculture, small pockets, and Ms. Williamson, a 20-something or other, born to a Jewish family in Texas. Interesting there too as well. Grew up in Houston, grew restless, dropped out of school, own self-education, picked up transcendental meditation. That's just high witchcraft. Nothing to worry about here. Oh, she sang cabaret, held temp jobs on the side. I wonder if it had anything to do with, wonder what that was all about. Let's see here, picked up a copy of the book. No author, super fascinated, super drawn to it. And then her boyfriend, guided by Satan, probably picked up the full 3-volume set. Of course, that's a sign, because God's not the only one who gives you signs. She called it her path out of hell. That's really, really funny, actually. As Owen Benjamin says, Satan is a really good comedian. So let's see here. Let's see here. Earlier this spring, Miss Williamson traveled to New York from her home in Des Moines to campaign and promote her latest book, A Politics of Love. It is her 13th book. 13's a number in witchcraft. It's months after she announced presidential bid. Da, 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 da. Let's see here. So let's see what she says. This book changed her life. Before the course, I felt like I was on a desperate journey to find God, but as much as I climbed up this huge flight of stone steps in front of a cathedral, my knees bloody and my elbows bloody, the cathedral door was locked. And when I read the course, I thought I understood the key. Sought the book's publisher. Based in the Upper Side West Side of Judith Scutch. I wonder if Scutch is a Jewish name. Miss Scutch recalls, Marianne was young and hungry for a path. Felt like firecrackers were coming out of her. That's interesting. That's actually a description of pretty common experiences when people are infused with demonic energy. Let's see here. So we're just gonna skip over some of this stuff. So she wrote a bunch of books, and she's just been this self-help guru. So let's see here. She taught about the curative power of thought. That sounds a bit like Joel Osteen, if you ask me. Weight loss, cause of your excess weight is fear. Poverty, many people fail to manifest money because of some deep level they don't think they should. Again, fear. Disease, it's loveless thinking materialized. Conservatives dismissed her as lowbrow woo-woo. Cutting review from 1992, the commentary writer John Podhertz. Unspeakably tasteless and her theology shallow. Well, let's see what... 1992, John Podhoretz. And there's nothing there on this archived thing here. So I might have to look that up again. Look it up later. I hadn't planned to look at that one. Let's see here. One group Christian researchers ominously described the character of the Chorus as not divine at all, but a demon cleverly impersonating Jesus, bent on turning a person's reception against Christian faith and towards New Age cultism. Yeah, they're correct. High profile fallouts with collaborators. Let's see here. What else we got? Let's see here. A lot of people have assumed that Ms. Williamson has produced this book herself, and obviously no. She's just a student. 98. Williamson moved outside Detroit to lead a megachurch. Congregation was not affiliated with the Course in Miracles, but also preached a blend of Christianity and positive thinking. She encountered some difficulty here. A few grew uneasy with her political commentary, and she proposed changing the name and affiliation church. They threatened a lawsuit. Being on a pulpit was more different than I expected. I bristled at the restrictions. So, yeah, she sounds. If there's bumping, that's my child making an ungodly amount of noise. That was my wife trying to call me. Let's see here. So she's had an unsuccessful political career. And then 2016, Donald Trump is, Mr. Trump is a big crisis. Oh, I didn't know this. She mounted an ill-fated run for the 33rd district in California as an independent. 33, again, attached to Satanism and stuff. Um, da, 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 da. Anyways, I encourage anyone listening to look through her stuff. Look through this, read this article, and see for yourself. But I mean, she's essentially a witch running for president, and originally, no one took her very seriously. Let's see here. Nobody has taken her seriously since she started. Oh, come on. Come on, The Hill. Don't be ridiculous. I hate ads. Let's see here. No, that article's a terrible one. But basically, if you look at her political history, she is. No one has taken her seriously, but after the debates, everybody is writing about her. Even, let's see here. Vox Day wrote a little piece about this. Matt Ty BB Ty Tybee's article. Let's see here. Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone. Let's see here. Talking about all the candidates here. I haven't actually read this article, so I have no idea where the thing is, but Vox quotes it right here. So he just goes on to talk about how, the previous Republican candidate field was a bit of a clown car, and now it's the same problem with the Democrat Party. And then he talks about Marianne Williamson. Let's see here. He says many, because this has caused all of her speeches caused many reporters to chortle her run, but she is able to very articulately pinpoint issues, and she's not traditional, but she grabs the attention of the crowds, which isn't surprising at all, given that she's a well-practiced witch who has been running in California circles for, in self-help circles for decades. And, Vox's comment here, ironically, a lunatic candidate like Williamson is probably the only one with a legitimate chance of beating President Trump in the general election, because she's the only one even speaking a modicum of the truth. Well, Satan does use the truth. But given that she's basically gone from someone with, who barely made it to the second debate stage, everybody is talking about her now. Everybody. I mean, that piece I just showed you, that's from the New York Times. I mean, this isn't this right here. This is New York Times about a month ago. She's been written about in the Hill. She is, let's see here. And she's being written about in, she's been written about in Christianity Today in the past. And this is interesting, that she is going to fool a lot of Christians, which makes her, this is why I think that she is the most plausible dark horse of the Democratic field, because running under the using God language and, forgiveness, peace, love, all of this stuff, she's going to appeal to a lot of Christians, a lot of people who call themselves Christians anyways. And I think that that is going to make her very, very formidable in the weeks to come. I mean, assuming she's still in the running, in any capacity in a few weeks. But well, that's about all I got on this one. Just pay attention to her if she's still hanging around. And even if she isn't, this is really interesting that we see someone who is this blatantly satanic making it to the Democratic field, and making it up there to run for president. She's nothing to worry about, obviously, because we shouldn't worry about any of this. But just know that if you have to vote, make sure you're not voting for Satan. For all of Donald Trump's foibles, I don't think he's working for the devil. And I'm still probably not going to vote this next election, but I'm just I'm more apt to say that Donald Trump is more likely than not operating on the side of truth and is is working to undermine Satan at every turn. And I think it's really interesting that she is saying that he's the one who's um, utilizing fear. He's utilizing there's this dark cloud around Donald Trump coming from a witch that makes me want to support Donald. Because that really means that he's surrounded with a cloud of light and is probably doing God's work more than we can imagine. So, with that, I think that's about it for this one. This is a really short one, and I just wanted to get some of these thoughts out here. I've been meaning to do a stream about her for a while, and you know, just look at some of the stuff she says. Use your God-given discernment to pick it apart. Don't be lured in by talks of love and peace and combating hate and all of this stuff. Just remember that's all an inversion. When she says love, she means self-love. When she talks about God, she's talking about the self-realized God. Um, and all of these things. So with that, I will leave. I'll leave you all to your day. This stream looks like it's really going to be jacked up, but we'll see what happens when it uploads. Thank you all again, and God bless. Bye bye.